I'm Ethan Griggs, and I'm here to talk about the film I stumbled upon. Now, this all coincides with a blog that I've got called filmnowandforever.blogspot.com. Anyways, the film that I stumbled upon is a film by Peter Bogdanovich called Saint Jack, and it stars Ben Gazzara, who recently passed away on February the 3rd. And the film centers around the character of Jack Flowers, an American living in Singapore who runs a whorehouse. And it tracks his adventures through Singapore as he gets muscled in by the local, you know, Singapore mafia, and his involvement later through the movie with the government, and you know, all to do with whores and scandals and stuff like that. But the film is completely centered around. It's a big character vehicle for Ben Gazzara, and in a lot of ways, it's a rejuvenation film for Peter Bogdanovich to get out of the funk that he was in at this time. The film was made in 1979. At this point, Peter Bogdanovich, in the early part of the 70s, had established himself as a great director with his second feature, The Last Picture Show, which basically was a classic, instant classic. Everybody loved it, and was a big hit for BVS, but that's another story. And follow that up with several hits like What's Up Doc and Paper Moon. And but after Paper Moon, he kind of just went in this downward slope of crap movies. But Saint Jack is very different from that. This is it's a very energetic film, and is a wonderful performance from Ben Gazzara. I mean, the guy just shows excellent acting skills in this film, and it's the whole movie. You just realize how badass Ben Gazzara is. You just have no idea what he's gonna do next. It's just amazing to watch. It also stars Denholm Elliott from the Indiana Jones movies, and the one-time James Bond, George Lazenby, has a small role as this dirty politician. But and Gazzara in this movie is very reminiscent to Humphrey Bogart in Casablanca, where you got an American who is not he's not in his homeland, but he is making the best of his situation by doing what people love. The way Ben Gazzara puts it in the movie is people make love for all kinds of crazy reasons. Why shouldn't money be one of them? And that's kind of his main motivation in this movie. The reason why, the way he explains it to Denholm Elliott, that of why he does what he does. And it's just he's one of those cool characters. And if you're not familiar with Gazzara's work, he did a lot with filmmaker John Cassavetes in the 70s. Films like Husbands, The Killing of a Chinese Bookie, and Opening Night. And he would later go on to do several films throughout the 70s and 80s, and then in the 90s he starred in a lot of independent films like Vincent Gallo's Buffalo 66, and which is a very very good movie. If you're familiar with Vincent Gallo's work, it's really the only one worth watching. If you come across a movie called The Brown Bunny, don't watch it. It's not good. And then he did a film for Todd Solondz called Happiness, which is a great movie, but if you are overly depressed, don't watch it because you possibly commit suicide after watching it. But besides that, it's a really great film. And then of course, Gazzara played the pornographer Jackie Treehorn in the Coen Brothers classic The Big Lebowski. But I think with Saint Jack stands alone as one of Gazzara's best movies. And upon finding this movie, we went on Netflix. They didn't have it, so I went to Hastings, and luckily they had it. So, point for Hastings in their ongoing struggle to beat out their internet competitors. And I rented it and watched it, and it just fell in love with this movie. the energy and the atmosphere of this movie is wonderful. And it's a Roger Corman production. Bogdanovich got his start with Roger Corman. With started out, he worked his way up through the ranks. Assistant director and stuff, production assistant stuff, and finally Corman gave him some leftover footage from real cheapy movie that he made in '63 called The Terror. He gives Bogdanovich some scraps from that movie and just gives Bogdanovich free reign to do whatever kind of movie he wants to. He just has to. And also, he had some film days left with Boris Karloff, and that's how the movie Targets got made, which is Bogdanovich's debut film. But see, Bogdanovich goes back to his roots here with Roger Corman, and the way Roger Corman tells it is that Bogdanovich went over budget because he wanted the film to be perfect. And well, he succeeded. I mean, it's a near perfect film. There are some flaws, holes here and there, but what there are, movies have that occasionally. But some of them, if it's got other stuff to cover it up, the holes aren't as noticeable. Which in the case of this movie, they're not that noticeable. And but all in all, aside from Corman, he's real strict. He was real strict on budgets, but all in all, Bogdanovich delivered a great film here, and Gazzara just displayed great acting skills in this movie, and it is definitely a must see for anybody that is interested in seeing a good movie, and definitely check it out, and hopefully the film gets re-released. The DVD that I viewed was not the best quality you'd want from a DVD, up to the standards of today. And Criterion's a long shot for this one, but the Shout Factory is having a. They re-released a bunch of Corman movies, and they still are. I think all the main ones that he did have been released, but hopefully this one gets some form of rejuvenation on DVD. And other than that, it's just a great movie that I thoroughly enjoyed, and that's about all I have to say on Saint Jack. And be sure and check out the blog, filmnowandforever.blogspot.com, to find out about other films that aren't as well known, or that just should be known, that kind of got lost to the sea of the abyss that is cinema nowadays. So that's it.